was built to last with the whims and the weaving. I could change the past to follow up achieving. Got my foot on the gas, never stop competing. If you break my glass, then this life's gonna end.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name. Check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of On the Mic with Mike. I'm your host, Mike Larkin, and joining me today is adult star content creator, and a hell of a one at that, the one, the only Miss Aria James. How are you, Aria?
Hey, I'm great. How are you? Thank you for having me.
You are very welcome. It's an absolute pleasure. Exciting times for everyone in the adult entertainment industry. We have the AVNs coming up, and congratulations on your nomination for Favorite Trans Porn Star.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. So first and foremost, let's talk about that because number one, how does it feel not only to be nominated in such a prestige category, but the AVNs itself? What a great prestige and overall category and overall pageantry that is the AVNs and that award show in itself.
Honestly, it was a complete shock. I was not expecting it at all. And then I had somebody tell me that I got nominated, and I was just excited. Definitely was unexpected, and I'm very grateful for it for sure.
I look at it from a stance like this. When you're in such a great class like you are, and the people that are nominated in said category, with everything that you've done, especially within your career thus far, and what everybody does in content creation, the adult entertainment industry has seen a lot of, revolutions and evolutions. I think in this particular scenario, especially in today's day and age, representation is key. So you get a lot of great representation across the field of diversity, and that's something needed in today's day and age,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I try to include a lot of diversity in my content instead of just a specific thing.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I look at it from a stance like this, and I think you can concur with me with how the adult entertainment industry was. And I look at it like this. I've always loved the different categories on different websites, but I think the community with what we have with OnlyFans and ManyVids and everything that's really kind of transformed and transmogrified, we're in a more day and age of everything being not only normalized, but also at the same thing. Number two, the community has really widened open, really has become so broadened,
For sure.
And I think for you, and I think we'll even ask you from there, you see how OnlyFans is in ManyVids, how awesome is that to really have that platforms as well, just because from where we were pre-COVID and COVID and really the boom that's taken on, how great is it to see more sites like that really come into fruition and just more platforms for adult entertainment and adult stars?
Honestly, Loyal Fans is my favorite platform. They actually took care of my ticket for the AVNs, so that was really nice of them. So yeah, I really one of my favorites is Loyal Fans right now, and it's great that we have more options, and a lot of them are actually creator owned too. Loyal Fans, I believe, was creator owned or is creator owned and created. So I definitely like that, having that platform where it's other creators that understand what we need. So
I look at it like this too, and I love how you put that, really just the creativity and creators of what you need, especially being creator owned and creator driven in a day and age where content creation is really so key and what we get to put out. I think what I love about it too is I think you can concur with me. With the adult entertainment industry, there's so many ways how you do things in front of the camera and behind the camera that are so key with the subtleties, the intricacies, and nuances that go into said films. How great is it to see the mix of storytelling with said films and also just the day and age, just the overall presentation? Because added more storytelling is so key to the adult entertainment industry and adult films. People don't even realize it. Yes, it's great to see the sex on camera and the raw and passion, but some of the stories and the entertainment value really goes a long way. There's a lot of layers to everything.
Yeah, I definitely like to have a variety on that too, though. I like my Gonzo style as well as the storyline. So I like to be able to mix that up and also show my creativity on other scenes as well. So it's great to have that mix of it for sure.
I always looked at it like this. I mean, from back in the day, folks, when we had everything like the Skinemaxes and the HBO with the Taxi Cab Confessions back in the day, and seeing everything from the cable point, that standpoint, I mean, we really have come such a long way. And I think what's great about today's narrative and today's adult entertainment industry is there's so many people on the come up that are willing to learn and to adapt, number one, but also number two, there's so much out there for people to learn and to adapt to that everything, again, being at the fingertip and right in our our hands, but also number two, social media and the pro kind of way, because there's always a lot of cons with social media, especially in today's social climate. There is a lot of pros to how we really absorb this content now, especially on the entertainment side of things.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And I look at it from a stance too, like this, speaking of absorbing and adapting and taking in that content, especially yours, Miss Aria James, which y'all should really check out if you haven't, and wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Let's talk about how you yourself got into this lovely world of the adult entertainment industry and content creation. What really gravitated you towards it, and talk about getting into it as a whole.
I mean, I'll be completely honest. I started escorting first. I will say that whenever I got in this industry, I was like on the earlier part of my transition, and I was on Grinder hooking up for free and doing all this other stuff. And I don't know. I just saw a demand for it, so I started like, well, why don't I get paid for it? Like my mom always told me, whenever you do something you love, you don't ever work a day in your life. So I was like, well, let me go ahead and see what I could do. And so I did that with my first start of it, and I would just record like different experiences and then put it online. Like I was very um, un unaware of like how like content creation works with all the paperwork and IDs and different things like that. So a lot of my earlier content was just random hookups and clients and different things like that. And then I kind of learned the ropes of like, oh, you need like actual paperwork, and you really should have like worked with only people that are creators and different things like that. And so that's whenever I started transitioning into doing more collabs and working with other content creators and doing it the correct way. And then that was about like 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, and then it's just been on the ground running ever since. So I don't know. It's been pretty entertaining. I don't know. At first, whenever I first started doing content and stuff, I was always, and this is something that I've mentioned to Ria because she's just such a hard worker on everything that she does, and I just admire her for that. But I was also like, she always just like me was always looking for like the next thing, and I'm like, sometimes you kind of have to, and this is what was told to me at the beginning of my career as well, is you have to like enjoy it. You have to enjoy the like adventure or and enjoy the journey along the way to wherever you're going. Because um, now looking back, there's a lot of times whenever I'm like, dang, I could have enjoyed that more instead of being like, all right, so what's next? What's next? What's next? You know? So I don't know. I just, that's how I got started.
First and foremost, I love that. I love the bluntness and I love the honesty there. I look at it like this. First and foremost, Pretty Woman, which your Julia Roberts style and your escort style, I look at it like this. I've as long as I've done these shows and really given this platform, what I've always noticed as well is I like how you mentioned some of them can start in the escort service. Some talents can start coming from like do like being strippers or what have you, and cam girls and cam modeling. I think it's the avenue to, and like you mentioned, being in that moment, that goes a long way in anything in life and any facet of life that you're really getting involved into. You have to live in the moment because it's moments and memories created and moments and memories yet to be created. And I think you got great advice on that front. And also, again, loving what you're doing, because if you love what you're doing, it's not really a job, but also the business side of things. Like you mentioned, like knowing the people who work with the content creation and really knowing who to work with as opposed to just like, random over here, random over there. It's a safe and spectacular mindset of like keeping it safe as well with everything, because safety is so important in today's protocol with the adult entertainment industry and scenes, and also spectacular because you're doing your craft in spectacular fashion. So there's layers to this, but also at the second time too, you really nail the aspect of having fun, taking it in, being in the moment, and really showcasing, showing up and showing out of what we get to see on said film.
Right. Like I definitely want to enjoy it, and because I like a lot of people take the acting part maybe a little bit too far, and I want to enjoy like what I'm doing. So definitely try to focus on that for sure.
Well, absolutely. And I mean, it's great to be in the character. And I've always said this, and I love people that are in character. But then when the character goes a wee bit too far, like you mentioned there, it's like, all right, come on now. Like, let's get into it and just stop being so stiff, so to speak. And stop
Exactly.
people, and that goes with anything in today's day and age. And I love that you brought that up because I see it so many times. So many people are too tense. You need to lighten up. Yes, we're
Yeah.
making a film and it's structure. It's everything has to be in structure, but it's like, fucking go and excuse my language, but I'll put it bluntly, fucking just do it. Fucking let it flow. Let it flow.
Like, enjoy it. People can tell whenever you're not thoroughly enjoying something, and then like what's the point in that? So that's like one thing, like I'm coming from escorting, and a lot of times I'm just being blunt honest again, like I enjoy those more, like the one-on-one experience with somebody, because I don't know, like in content, you have to make sure you have the right angles, or you have the right like position or different things like that. And like it's just so much better to I really enjoy my one-on-one or more connections that I have with my clients and stuff, because it's like so much personal. I like making content for sure, but I definitely enjoy like sessions better for sure.
No, I'm right there with you, and I think you could concur with me on this. And again, we talk about so many different art forms because that's what all of this here is. It's an art form. From the session side of things, I mean, when people talk about customs and sessions and everything in that day and age, I mean, look at today where it's like, again, we mentioned the Q term normalized, but there's so many people out there, and it's really great to see. There's always been that old adage of let that freak flag fly, but also at the same time, too, we have so many different people that are unique, have many different unique preferences, and really people are starting to open up into what they like, which is wonderful to see. And it's great to explore and really get into the mind of what people like and what they're really into.
Yeah, and I like one of my top things I do is fetish content, like foot content, ball busting, and different things like that, which might not be for everybody, but I'm really, and this is a weird way that I kind of like, I guess, rationalize it, but I'm very much like a pleasure dom, and yeah, it might not turn me on to kick somebody in the nuts, but it turns them on, and like, I'm just trying to make them happy, so if that's what makes them happy, I guess I'll just kick them in the nuts. I don't know.
No, like I'll be honest, that was actually going to be my follow up. I'm glad you brought that up. So I look at it like this: foot content, the fetish content is a very popular category for the fetish world, and I love that. But also number two, as well as I've also myself have kind of like I look at it like this from the ball busting side of things. I'm like, okay, and again, I'm not a judger, and I love it too how you brought that up. Like, but if and people don't understand this, but what she just stated is absolutely correct. There are people with that fetish that like to get kicked in the nuts. It is what it is. Like you would be
And I
so
don't judge.
exactly, exactly, and you can't judge on that because you have to understand you may not like being kicked in the nuts, but there are some people that like being kicked in the
But
nuts.
Joe Blow down the street, he loves it. Let me tell you.
Right. That's the thing. That's how you have to look at it. And it's like with any art form, like look at it from a movie standpoint as well, right? Like if you really want to be critical in movies, like Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze, which is iconic film from the 80s, like a lot of people would give that crap for like the violence and like the sexual nature of it because of Patrick Swayze's character. But I'm like, it's Patrick Swayze. He plays a bouncer. He kicks people's ass. And it's friggin' one of the most, you can say what you will about it, but it's one of the most cult classic films ever. You may not like it, but there's a whole lot of people that like Roadhouse and still quote it to this day. So you
Is
have
there
to be aware of that.
is there anything Patrick Swayze was in that's not iconic?
Right. No, no, I'll be honest with you. God rest that man's soul. No,
I'm
like,
just saying. I had to think about it. I'll have to go and look just to make sure. But
no, you're correct. Like the 80s Patrick Swayze from like Roadhouse and The Outsiders and like Dirty Dancing, like in 90 and like Next of Kin, like Patrick Swayze cannot do no wrong as far as filmography goes.
I love S.E. Hinton. That was like one of my favorite authors. Outsiders and Tex and what are some other ones she did? I forget. That was one of my favorite authors. I love reading it's a her. She's a her, right?
I
S.E.
believe
Hinton.
yes, I believe so because
I think so.
I remember actually we watched the film and we read the book and during my junior high tenure back in the day. So we actually read The Outsiders for school. So I remember that very vividly.
I
See,
think I did too, but then I read Text though, like the actual book, and it's written by the same person. I think it has one of the same characters in it too.
okay. All right, fair enough.
Random, so.
Oh, you're totally fine. I love the randomness of that because I look at it from a stance too, like this. Even how funny that is, and we talk about society changing, how probably, and I don't even know if it's banned or not, ladies and gentlemen, but I know like books that we grew up reading, like To Kill a Mockingbird, and other books like of that nature are like banned now, and it's crazy because like you can remember where you read it or what have you, but times have really changed where like books like that would probably be banned now just because of the nature of it, which is crazy.
That's insane to me that like we're in 2025 and they're banning books. Like I
I
don't
don't
get that.
I don't get it either, but I mean, I
Like that
think
doesn't make any sense to me. I'm like, we're in 2025 and you're banning books. Like, why can't people just have difference of opinions? I don't get it.
I don't get it either. Like my senior year, like we read, and for those who are not familiar with Speak, not just because of the movie with Kristen Stewart, which is one of her early movies before Twilight, like Speak was about the girl who went to the party and she got raped at the party, and then like she didn't speak about it. She kept it very quiet, and it's a serious book in nature, but also this is stuff that happens unfortunately in everyday's life. Like that book got banned and so many other ones. So I mean, there's life lessons to really everything that we read. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
And but that's like, and I'm with you on that because there's a lot of craziness, folks, on what is banned today. I mean, if you all right, we'll make it to the adult entertainment industry realm. We'll bring it all together here. You look at community guidelines, for example, with social media and what you can and can't post. Like for instance, with Instagram, like stuff that could get like banned or taken on Instagram. It's nuts. Well, and there's so many different and worse stuff that's out there.
I have like, I guess maybe an unpopular opinion
Okay.
and a love-hate relationship with TikTok. I know like they just got banned for 12 hours. Like before I became an escort and porn star, I was a beauty like content creator. I did like creative makeup for TikTok and different things like that. So I got like 32K on TikTok on doing makeup and stuff. But I was also like going live on TikTok a lot and would not be doing anything, just sitting there talking to people that were on my live, and they would mass report me and get my lives banned on all of my accounts. Like I would start a new TikTok, be on live for like no time at all, and get banned. And it's still even the same way. Like I'm still live banned on my main account, but somehow I still have it. So like there's a lot of things on there that like I don't get in trouble for on other sites like Instagram even or Facebook. Like there's certain comments I've made on TikTok that were not even bad that I've made the same ones on Facebook and no issue. So whenever people talk about like other sites being censored, I'm like, TikTok is one of the most censored apps out there. Like and it's one of the easiest manipulated ones because people actually take like the code for the block or like the report button or whatever and stick it in this other computer program where it hits it in like a million times or they block you or they ban you or whatever. Like I've seen YouTube videos on it. And so like I like TikTok because of the content that you see on it and stuff, but I really don't I think like I don't know. It's so weird the stuff that gets banned on there and this like how sensitive they are with things on there. Because there was another time that I posted a video of me in a one piece lingerie, like sitting where you couldn't see anything. Like everything was like I was basically like I was in a one piece bathing suit and they took the video down. So then I went to either Savage X Fenty with lingerie or went to Victoria's Secret's TikTok or something. I stitched it, and then my stitch got taken down, but the original video was still up. And so it's okay whenever it's a big company that's paying them for advertisement, but whenever, just some random person does it, then it's not okay. So I have like a really love-hate with TikTok because I don't know, I just wish they would do better on there. I wish after their little block they would have like started everybody fresh and be like, all right, you can go live again. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of bitter about TikTok. I was doing so good on there.
No, I completely understand. I've seen that as well with one of my buddies when he was on live, and I don't know if they said something that was just like a minuscule, I don't know, like a curse or whatever, but like then they got like taken down. Like you mentioned there, like even like that's even odd to me. Like you're just doing makeup and stuff, and the crap like that gets taken down. It's very sensitive with the community guidelines. I mean, some stuff could be fine, and then other stuff can't be fine. Like I've just community guidelines in general. I mean, especially on the TikTok front, like you mentioned, and in general it's very interesting to me to what people find to be just like, either like in poor taste or what have you. Just community guidelines in itself, I kind of have a love hate relationship to, kind of like equated to all forms of social media. So I get you. I completely understand where you're coming from.
Me too. Like the algorithm hates me too. Like my X algorithm is so horrible right now. Like I even bought the premium X and it's like horrible. And I contacted the customer support and they're like, there's nothing to change. Like you just keep doing you and people will find you. And I'm like, I have 33K following on X and like it maybe 1,000 views. Like you're at least show it to my followers. Like I don't understand. Like there should be at least 33,000 views on there. So I don't understand the algorithm. It just hates me. I'm like I'm like, how did I get nominated? Like I'm like, you don't see my Twitter? It's dead. There's like tumbleweeds going through it.
Well, I think it's just not only the community that you brought in within your work on various platforms. I think it's just also, I will say this as well. You're very personable. You're very professional as well. You know, you have just overall greatness about you. And I think with your overall craft. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So, I mean, I myself, and I'm sure everyone who listens are very happy to see you nominated. And we hope the best for you. I've continued to vote it. So I hope everybody does continue to vote as well and get Aria James over here. We got you. But I will say this. You did mention a name earlier that I definitely have to bring up because I've seen the two of you. Great chemistry both on the camera and off the camera. You and Rhea Bentley, man. Let's talk about it, man. Because my goodness gracious, the sensuality side, everything that goes into both of y'all's respective works. And when y'all come together like this, man, like glue, talk about working with Rhea and just those hot and sensual scenes in her also.
Oh my God, I love Ria. We're both from Texas, so we didn't meet until we came out here. And ever since she's got here, she's just we've both been really good friends to each other. I feel so. I think that contributes to the chemistry that we have. Um, I don't know, like I really love what I do, and I know that she does, and I really admire her work ethic that I do not have. Because like if I did, I'd probably be way further. But she's just such a horse, always working, and just puts out amazing content. I love working with her because she thinks of things that like I don't think of, like positions and different things, like where she jackhammers me, and different things like that. It's just something that I wouldn't necessarily think of. So I like how she creates content and just so many different things. And like I said, she's been a really close friend to me since I've been out here, so it's a lot easier to have, I guess, that chemistry with her. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just a horn dog too, so.
Well, let's put it into the forefront here, Miss Horn Dog. We'll put this into perspective here. What I'd like to call it is I always adapt it and put it like I initialize like RDSA, real deal sex appeal. You have that, like you mentioned, like the different positions and everything that she's really into and being the workhorse. It's the real deal sex appeal vibes of just like, okay, this is who I am. This is what I like. It's confidence, not cockiness. And then the sex appeal side of things goes into one's being and one's transitioning and transmortification on air and on camera. So, I mean, that's how you really have to look at it. Like you yourself being a real deal sex appeal and everything that goes into it. So, I mean, sex sells number one, but also the two, it's the appeal. So you really incorporate a lot of the sex appeal vibes, so to speak, when it comes to that. So.
I mean, with a big ass dick like that, it's not hard me to get into it. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. But no, I think that stuff, like again, just like very entertaining and very just awesome and very spicy in both your respective fronts. And I got nothing but love for you both. And I mean, another one really to put into perspective there. I mean, I've seen you done some work with Smash Thompson as well, who has done a lot of great work with so many great trans talent and talent in general within the adult entertainment industry. We got to talk about Smash, man, because he's another one that you have great chemistry with.
Yeah, he's also another one of my really good friends. So I moved out here to Vegas a year ago, and he's been one of my closest friends next to Ria. So it's really, I don't know. Honestly, I haven't lived outside of Texas except for whenever I was like 18. So, and it was for 6 months. So it's a whole new thing for me. Moving out here was a huge transition for me. I didn't like hate it. It was just something new for me, and I was getting used to it. And having him around really helped me with that because I didn't have a lot of people out here before Ria. So before Ria came out here, he was very close friend of me. He still is. But yeah, it's been great working with him, and I think what created that is also the friendship that we've had. So it's easy to work with him and create a good scene as well. He was one of the first guys that I worked with when coming out here, and we've just been stayed in touch ever since. So
I look at it like this because that was actually going to be my follow-up question. So I want to focus on the fact that you go from Texas, God bless Texas, everything deep into the heart of Texas will be here all day, but you transition from Texas to Vegas, which is the adult capital of the world, the fight capital of the world. Everything happens in Las Vegas. It's entertainment oriented. So you're in the Las Vegas, the 702, where my girl's at, from the front to back type of style vibes with Las Vegas. So I think for you, I think again, not only being a transition, but also just going where you are, because moving is hard on anybody, but you're moving to this part of the country where it's so many different ways to make connections and networking. So you have everything at your fingertips. So, I mean, that also is not only going to be great for you, but making friends like Ria and having Smash here and just bringing everybody together here. But the networks and connection and just the overall availability in Las Vegas is just probably got to be not only amazing, but number two, it's really great. Everything is adaptation right at your fingertips, especially in the 702.
Yeah, I haven't done as much as I would like to do, but I'm also struggling with like introvertedness. So I'm like working on that still, but I've done and met a lot of great people since I've been out here. And I do like it out here. The only thing I don't like is there's no grass. Like they don't have grass at the parks or something. I don't know. It's a weird thing for me. So I'm getting used to that. But the having like for example, the AVNs are this weekend, and it's just right down the street. So it's having that luxury of being able to do that instead of being like, oh, flight, hotel, and everything. And that was another thing too, is I was coming out here like once a month before I moved out here anyways. And so it was financially more sound just for me to live here. So it's been a great experience for sure. It's definitely, like I said, it's a hard time at sometimes, but it's just me trying to get like used to it and everything. So
Now, I have to say this first and foremost. I can only imagine from the travel side of things, and especially the accommodation and comfortability once you really get set in to where you're moving to or what have you. And I look at it like this, like you mentioned, the accessibility of it being right around the corner from AVNs. My goodness, and just having not have to go that far and really being local, but also at the same time too. I understand about introvertedness. Some of my dear friends are introverted, so I completely understand where you're coming from on that front, from being around introverts, and I have a little bit of that introversity myself in me, so I totally get it. And folks, for those who are fellow introverts, y'all know what we're talking about. But I mean,
you're not alone. Like it's
no, you're
really
not.
it
You're not.
happens to all of us. So I'm like, let's get ready, and then like we don't really have to go. It's fine. We can just stay home. It's cool, like, but you got all ready. No, I know. I just like looking pretty. It's fine. Like,
I completely get that because it's kind of like it's like as we get older and like as a millennial, I will say this: you see all these videos from these content creators where it's like, okay, let's get ready to go, and you're ready to party, and then you try to like stay awake during New Year's, and then you're like, as you're getting older, you just fall asleep, and you're like, yeah, we could go out. No, I don't want to go out. I just I'm good. I'm good. I'm
let
just
me let me ask you a question because I don't know. There's this dude named Apollo Show, the Apollo Show. I don't know if you know who that is.
okay.
He was saying that MILF starts at 27 and GILF starts at 39. I don't think that's true. Like, do you think GILF starts at 39?
All right. So, oh my God, yeah, you're bringing it to me now. Okay, so I look at it like this from the MILF side of things. I think it starts like late 20s, early 30s, like in the 30s. It's got to be in the 30s for me because I'm 33 now and I'm looking at like MILFs like that. And like I see GILFs as more like in like the 50s. Like I
That's
always
what
look
I
at
thought.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't see like GILF as like 39. When I think of GILF, I'm like 50, maybe like late
50s.
50s, early 60. Like that's GILF for me.
Yeah.
I don't get that either.
Yeah, I was like, no, I don't. I no disrespect to the gilfs or anything, but let me hold on to milf for a little bit, like just a little bit, like another 10 years. Just let me hold on to it, okay? Like I just got here.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. Like really looking at that and putting into perspective. Yeah, GILF is not 39, ladies and gentlemen. Just to put that into fruition, that is not 39 at all. Like that's still MILF category. Stop it.
That has, I know, but even nowadays you could be like 18 and be a milf. So like but
Yes. That's so true, and I
I'm
don't mean
just
to laugh.
saying,
No,
like MILF can start at 18 and up, but like a GILF, let's do 50 and up. Like, let's just please leave it at 50 and up. That'd be great.
I mean, I look at it like this from the movie standpoint. Look at Catherine Keener in the 40-year-old version when she falls in love with Steve Carell, right?
Mhm.
He finds out, like, that she's also not only a mother, but her kid is having a kid. And then he's like, I'm the dude with the hot granny. So technically speaking, he was
I
with
mean,
a
there's plenty of hot grannies out there.
yeah,
Don't get me wrong. I'm
yeah,
just saying, I'm gonna stay at MILF for a little bit. That's
yeah.
all.
That's what I'm saying. Like Catherine Keener, technically speaking, in the 40-year-old version was like MILF slash GILF. So I mean, you have the best of both worlds right there.
Well, I mean, you look at the Golden Girls; they were like in their 40s whenever they shot that, weren't
Oh
they?
my god. Like Rue McClanahan was like in her 40s, and like when when the show came out, that's right. Yeah.
I'm saying, like, and they were considered grand. I'm like, hold on, wait.
No.
Speaking of which, did you see my Golden Tea Girls that I did?
Oh my goodness, yes, I did. Very,
You
very
did?
I did.
Yeah, I played Dorothy. I that was a fun time for sure.
We
And
get
then Smash was in it as Suck Me Off. What was the name? Something Suck Me Off. Dimitri Suck Me
yeah,
Off was
Dimitri
his name.
Sokolov. Yep.
He was a Black Russian. How many Black Russians do you know?
Not a lot to be completely.
I didn't know that at the time, and like afterwards, somebody had mentioned that. I was like, "Oh my god, that's so true."
Well, no, that I have seen the scene, yes. And I mean, I think that's important with everything, like especially Dorothy, which was such an iconic character in the day and age of the Golden
So,
Girls. But yeah,
yeah,
but it's become so iconic, like with everything. Like I also like how porn parodies also not only stand the test of time, but if you can interpret it and really incorporate it in your own way, that's what makes it worth having. Like you mentioned the creativity side of things. If you could add your own spin to the Golden Girls or whatever, it works because popular culture, the nostalgia works with really anything.
and on top of that, like Golden Girls is such a iconic classic. They were ahead of their time with like the comedy that they have, and the being like older ladies that were telling these jokes and stuff, and how supportive they were of the LGBT community before like it was popular, So it's a lot of cool things about that show. So it was a really great opportunity to make a parody about that. I was excited about that for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's that infamous episode. Like you talk about how it really focused. There's a lot of stuff with LGBTQ and everything. Like one of the most infamous episodes is Betty White, God rest her soul. Another one who is just such an iconic actress and a
Love
great.
her.
One of the best roles on that show was like I think it was Dorothy's friend comes into town and she's like attracted to Rose and it highlighted like, hey, she's a lesbian and here's Betty White who's like very like naive to the fact like hey she likes you but she really likes you so you incorporated that element to it and like they even focused on that. There was a lot of things that they really focused on like you mentioned that were ahead of their time.
Exactly. Like that nowadays it's like, oh my God, that's an agenda or something. And it was like just something that they felt was important to them. I watched every episode of that, especially considering it's like streaming. I went back and watched every episode of that. So it was an honor to be on that. Honestly, I really wanted to be Blanche, but Dorothy was fitting too because I do have like a dry, sarcastic humor. So she is very well known for that. So it was very fitting. But I also wanted to be the horny little grandma too, though. So
Horny little grandma, yes.
Blanche was just the horniest. I'm like, that's totally me though. Like that's who I am. Like whatever.
No, and that's not a bad thing. I think that goes with layers and levels to people's personalities and just with the overall appeal. Like we mentioned, you could be a horn dog, but also again, you have to have personality to it. You have to have that little flavor to it, so to speak.
Oh yeah, I've the Blanche and all of them have like different sides of my own character. Like I'm the airhead like Rose. I'm also horny like Blanche, but I'm also dry, sarcastic humor like Dorothy. So I got a little bit of everybody.
Well, I mean, if you look at '90s and the cult classic like Clueless, and I mean Alicia Silverstone, who's still gorgeous to this day, you could be like the as if and the whatever and be like an airhead, but also at the same time, like you could see like there's a lot of sass and there's smartness to it, or she could be very cunning. So there was a lot of layers even to her character, even if you're supposed to be like this Valley Girl type of vibe. There was still a lot of layers to what Clueless was with how Alicia Silverstone character was.
Yeah, and like that's like. Also, I look up to like Anna Nicole Smith and like Marilyn Monroe and all these people that were looked at to be dumb, but actually were really smart in what they did. because I don't know, it's just like they're iconic. Like that's one of the things I get compared to a lot is Marilyn Monroe and Anna Nicole Smith, and I'm like, I know it's not only like the blonde hair, but even like in my facial expressions, there's one picture I've seen of Anna Nicole Smith, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can see it, I can see it in that one picture. But they were so smart in like the way that they worked. It's sad how they ended up, but um honestly, like it was all like a plan for them, and I look up to them for that, you know, like because everyone's gonna look at you like you're a dumb blonde anyway, so you might as well, you know, capitalize on it a little bit. So
I feel you. I mean, all right, now this one bringing up Anna Nicole Smith over here. We're going to talk about this just because I remember even as like a youngin, so to speak. Like I remember like even going back and you look at her early tenure in the adult entertainment industry. Like there's this one scene that she had. I think it was a lesbian scene where they were both like in the bathtub, and it's very sensual for those who've never seen it. I mean, it was a classic. I will say this, even if you look at the annals of the adult entertainment industry, it's probably one of the sexiest doggone scenes was Anna Nicole Smith. And I can't remember the woman she was working with at the time, but my God, there's this very sexy bathtub scene. And you look at Marilyn Monroe, like just her singing Happy Birthday, Mr. President. I mean, there's a lot of elegance that goes into this. And I like a lot of people don't even realize like there's elegance and stuff of how you portray yourself and your character, but also just adding yourself and turning the volume up is really important.
oh yeah, for sure. I admire them for sure, like and how they carried themselves and how they were able to, you know, skyrocket to the fame. Which honestly, I don't want the fame. I just want the money. Like you can keep the fame. I just want the money. I'm
Like,
just saying, because you have some famous people that are broke nowadays. So I'm like, just give me the money and I leave. I don't want to be like, I don't want somebody finding me whenever I'm broke.
go on, take the money and run. I like it.
Yeah, I'm like, they're like, oh, but you're famous. And I'm like, no, 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 that's not me. Sorry.
I mean, there's humility to it as well too. Like we mentioned, the business side of things, but again, it's the money aspect. You know what I'm saying? Just pay me and I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Just do right by me and I'm good.
you know, I got bills to pay. All right, so.
Oh my goodness gracious, yes. And I mean, I'll even add another popular culture on because you were talking about the Dom stuff as well, and we touched upon that a lot in today's forum. But it's like if you're unique and you're really opening up your preferences into your mind. Like I remember True Life back in the day with MTV, for those that remember True Life, like one of the highlighted episodes was True Life, I'm a Dominatrix, and it understands and showcases how dominatrix saw the submissive side and the dominant side and what have you. So I mean, a lot of people can even learn from that. And there's stuff where they talk about like being sexaholics, so to speak, and like we touched upon the horn dog side of thing. Like that's like stuff like that exists, and how much people are into sex and dominatrix. Like you really don't even realize just how much people are really into it.
I got my teddy, my kitten actually, it's a kinky kitten, has a strap on. And you know it's a little down little kitten now. um yeah, no, like I love I going to petcon my first time was such a great eye opener. I didn't know what trampling was or anything. I saw people stepping on other people and I'm like, oh, I could never do that. And literally like 5 minutes later I was stepping on this guy with heels on with like two of my girlfriends and I was like, oh my god, this is actually, I mean, it's kind of fun or whatever. And I opened my eyes to so many more avenues of, you know, not only like content creation but just avenues of, you know, experiences or I don't know what to call it, but just experiences, I guess you would say. Because it's something like, for one, that I only thought like content creation, there's only sex, that's all you can do. And it's like there's so many other things. And like my favorite saying that I've heard is, if you can think it, you can kink it. So like anything that you can think of can be a kink, like burping, spitting, random stuff that you would never like think of as being a kink or that people get off on. They do. Like there's people that are really into bellies and different things like that. So it's kind of cool. And what I really like is the worshiping side of it, because I'm like, damn, you could just worship my whole body. Like that's just like, okay, I can take that. Like I really enjoy that as well. So it was an interesting experience, and I'm definitely glad that I got more into the kink side of stuff as well, instead of just like what some the kinkier side calls vanilla porn or something.
First of all, if you can think it, you can kink it. I like that. I like that a lot. That's great. I mean,
I
look at
heard
it.
it from Kasumi. Do you know Kazumi?
Yes, yes, I've heard the name.
I've heard her say that, and I was like, that's such a like fitting saying. So
No, you're completely right because I mean the body worship side of things really goes a long way, and like you mentioned, folks, like she mentioned, like burping, farting, spitting, swallowing, like there's a lot of stuff that people get turned on about that you wouldn't even like notice. It's like there are some people, like people out there that just like want to buy like dirty socks off of someone because they're so hot, they just want to buy their socks or foot fetish, like we mentioned earlier. Like there's something for everybody, and you don't even realize it, and it's crazy, but it's also very cool at the same time.
at VetCon, they did a poll type thing, like these little balls that they put in different like jars with the different fetishes on it to see which was the most popular fetish. And farting was the most popular fetish out of all of them. Second came feet, and then I think third came dominatrix. And so that's so surprising to me, like that farting is like that big of a category. But I'm like, all right, I guess I have to start farting on camera. I'm like, if that's what y'all want, like, I'll give the people what they want, I guess, right?
As it is, but I mean, like I said, it's one of those things too, as well as like first of all, and I'm trying to think like, and I would be surprised too, like the farting aspect. But hey, if y'all like people like pass gas on camera, someone to pass gas in front of you, on you, what have you. I mean, hey man, just fucking go for it. To be the complete, but to be honest, like fucking go for it, I guess.
Like, I was gonna do it for free anyways. Might as okay. Like I tell Smash that all the time. Like I'm like, you just lost like $20 or whatever. Like, you could have made some money off of that. What are you doing?
Oh my goodness. But that's the thing too. Yeah. And again, it's the interesting part of the world that we live in of how people, again, just people and how they think and their mindsets. And that's got to be create community in their own right because FetCon and the AVNs and all these great places like Exotica, what have you, the community, like it's nuts. And the people that are the fans, they're just so vibrant and they're so lively. Like they love it, man.
I love FetCon. I've been going for 3 years, and this would be the fourth year coming up. I love FetCon. FetCon was one of my second event that I went to. First one was Exotica Miami, and the second one was FetCon because it was like a month apart or something. And it's just such a great experience to be with like-minded people. I have so many friends that go to that. I met so many people through FetCon. And I really enjoy it because they do rent out the whole hotel. So like you literally just walk around in the bare minimum, which for women is a thong and nipple pasties, and for men is a thong. And I just love that the freedom to do that and just hang out by the pool and everything like that, and just seeing the same people every year. And it's really like kind of like I don't know, my Christmas, like like Christmas isn't really the same for me as going to FetCon. Like I just love it. And it's just like like a holiday slash family reunion or something. And it's one of my favorite events to go to because it's not really corporatized really. Like it is in certain ways, but like all the vendors that are there, like independent, like merchant vendors, and it's not big studios. Like Clips for Sale is like the only one that's there, and the rest is just like people, like-minded people coming together, and I really enjoy that. And like I also like it just because people are less judging there, and not saying they're not judgy everywhere else, but considering there's such a wide variety of things that go on at FetCon, it's a lot less judgy, I think.
I'm right there with you. And I like the freeness and the liveliness that you just absolutely spoke of there when it comes into fruition there. But I always look at it like this. I mean, and I especially like that fan base a little bit more. And again, love the adult entertainment industry. I love the great people, much like yourself, who do the great work. And you can attest to me. We need more, not only like minded people to be around, but there has to be more of that like mindedness instead of being so close minded and stuff. Because again, we're in a day and age where normalized stuff like this is normalized. And also at the end of the day, fucking let people do what they want instead of this, because especially in social media and climate, there's too much of this and not enough of this.
It's
Like,
like let's find the similarities instead of the differences, and then
right.
just if you don't like something somebody's doing, then you don't have to be around it. Like just ignore it. Like if they're not hurting you, I don't see the problem in it. So that's my opinion on it. Like that's what I like about FetCon because I mean people are getting trampled on and kicked in the balls and all that sort of different things, and it's like there's just not as much judgmentalness. I feel like, I don't know.
No,
I guess the same stuff happens at the other events as well, but I just haven't experienced it. I've experienced it more at FetCon, so.
no, I'm right there with you. And I mean, I look at it like this: in this life, I've say this many a times, like you have to look at life in itself as an art form, and in all facets of life. You have to look at it as life as an art form. We're all just applying our crafts, and we all want to apply our craft in amazing fashion and spectacular fashion. So you have to really look at it as not only the art form and the freeness and the creativity, but also at the same time too, you never know what people are going to gravitate towards, and you have to see the bigger picture of, okay, this is something that's different, this is unique, but this is also something that I love, and somebody else may have the same love and passion for what you do, so you never know who you're going to influence.
Like getting into this industry, and even before this industry, I was like, I'm like open to whatever. Like, let's try it. Like, see what's. I mean, I might enjoy it. I don't know. And that's been the greatness. Like a lot of things that I would not have tried before. I guess getting into sex work in general, I've been able to explore and just like I don't know. Like, there's certain things. It's funny to me because I talked to like I was talking to my hairdresser today because I was getting my hair done, and she was like, "Oh my God, I bet you there's like crazy porn parties or whatever." And I was like, I mean, not really. And I'm like, it's not crazy for me because I'm around it all the time. But the same stuff that's not crazy for me, it's like not for other. It is for other people. And so I'm like, oh, that's like a normal Monday. Like, I was telling her I was like a 6-person orgy. Oh, that was like a Tuesday. I don't. That's not like I don't know. Maybe I'm desensitized or something. I'm like, it just seems like a normal party for me.
All right, I'm smiling from ear to ear because I can also equate to that as a podcaster who love what he does and he loves all facets of life. I look at it like this. So this one over here, talk about it's like a normal Tuesday with an orgy. I get it because you're around it and you're around the stuff. Like it's just like, oh, 6-person orgy. That's just like a Tuesday or what have you. And again, I love that mentality and you being desensitized to it because as someone who myself included from the media side of things, I'm like, yeah, because people would ask me, it's like, oh, you're interviewing adult entertainment stars. How does that work? And I'm like, well, you talk to them about the industry, you get into it, you have a conversation, you let it flow, much like we're doing it tonight. It's not like I start out the game by like saying, hey, man, what about the gangbangs and this, that? It's like, no, like it's a profession, it's a business, but it's also entertaining and it's also a variety and it's an art form. So you have to look at it like that and not just be like going straight on in, like, how does that work? We're all people at the end of the day. We all like what we like. We enjoy what we like. And also at the same time, too, if a 6-person orgy is like the normal Tuesday night, what have you, that's what you like. It's sex. It's sex. At the end of the day, people sex sells, and at the end of the day, sex. We all have sex.
Yeah, exactly. Like some of us experience different things, but really a lot of times, like what anything that's stopping other people from experiencing the same things as themselves.
Right.
Like a lot of times I get like clients that are like, yeah, I've been wanting to book you for like so long. And I'm like, well, why didn't you? Well, I've been scared. And I'm like, point in case, like the only thing that's stopping you from experiencing something is yourself. Like y'all can have 6-person orgies if you want. Just, there's certain ways you can set that up, like, it just takes like, and for me, myself, I've been in the same position too. A lot of things that I wanted to do, I was the one stopping myself from doing that. For example, like I always wanted to go to like bathhouses and stuff, and I've been to one in my life, but I was terrified before going in there, and I don't know why. Like it's not that big of a deal. And I haven't been back since because I don't want to go by myself. But like, so I'm like, it's not all as normal as well. They're also in like controlled environments too. That's another thing as well. So
Yeah, I mean, if there's structure to it and like there's control environments, like if you want to go out there and do it, manifest it. Just don't be, apprehensive and scared about it. Just like go for it. Yeah, that's the
no,
point.
I need to. See, I do the same thing. So I understand when people are like that, but I'm telling them, I'm like, don't worry about me though. Like I'm safe. Like like I'm in a controlled environment. This is the environment I'm talking about. But like, so I totally did that same thing because I was supposed to go do that thing over the summer, and then again got all dressed, ready to go, and I was like, you know what, we don't have to go. It's fine.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, even if you don't go, like you mentioned, you can still style and profile and accessorize with what you're wearing. So
I'm like, let's make some content and take some pictures. I guess I'm already made up. So
and I will say this for those who've not checked out the imagery of this lovely human being over here on the Twitter front and Instagram, man, you got it going on with the lingerie and whatnot, man, the casual wear. You do your stuff from the imagery side of things. Let's put that to the forefront. You'd never take a bad photo.
I
Very
I try. Thank you so much. I never post a bad picture that I take. How about that? It's not I never take a bad picture. I just never post those.
true.
But yeah, I guess that also comes with me being like a content creator, like creative beauty makeup person, before I start doing this. So that's where I get like a lot of my makeup skills. Like, I think Ria had mentioned it or whatever, how I'm good at makeup and hair. And it's because I came from that background and like I was doing actually way crazier looks than I do now by far. And so that really played into it because honestly, whenever um, prior to my transition, James Charles had came out and was like the first cover boy, cover girl for a cover girl, and really inspired me to start doing makeup. And along that way, I was like, well, if I ever do get the chance to transition, I'll be really good at makeup. So we'll like have one step down. And like a couple more years into it is whenever COVID happened, and that's kind of around the time I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna transition. And luckily, I already had like the makeup and the hair skills, and then combined with the posing skills I got from doing that kind of content, it helps me take really good pictures.
Look at it like this, and this goes back to Patrick Swayze. So Patrick Swayze, one of his most iconic films in the '90s. It was him, John Leguizamo, and Wesley Snipes. And for those who've never seen Tu Wong Fu, thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. Patrick Swayze really goes all out with his makeup and aesthetic, not only from the drag queen side of things, but he makes it work just because not only being committed to the role, and also just because of the fact that he's Patrick Swayze and he's a fucking icon. But it's one of those exactly, but also at the same time too, it's so out of the ordinary from the characters that he's played, and then he's like, all right, we're gonna do the drag queen movie, and it works because it really accessorizes, it highlights that different genre and art form and how drag queens are, but also at the same time too, he goes all in. The investment that he puts into it, much like the adult entertainers and content creators, the investment they put in themselves and everything that goes into it, you have to go all in.
Oh yeah, because I mean we are a brand at the end of the day, so it's just like image and everything like that goes into being a brand, um, like any kind of other brand. So yeah, I fucking love that movie.
There's the infamous scene in the movie where they're getting arrested, and he's like, stop grabbing my nuts, man!" And then he punches the freaking police officer. Oh man, like it's like I said, it's one of Patrick Swayze's one of the underrated films that he had. There's a lot of comedic elements that people don't even realize from that movie. It's so good.
I think I really feel like I have to go back and find like a Patrick Swayze movie I didn't like though. I
You
really
can't.
like. I'm like thinking about now, like everyone we've named has been iconic. So I'm like, I don't know if it's
I
I can
mean,
see.
there was Fatherhood in the '90s. It wasn't one like it was popular his, but there's one where he plays like the deadbeat dad, and it's not bad, but he plays such a good deadbeat dad who
Yeah,
then
you
like
want to hate him.
you can't hate him. And it's like Letters from a Killer was a very underrated one where he's in jail and all these women are like sending him email letters and stuff. And he didn't even, it's like he gets arrested for a crime he didn't commit. So he's in jail and all these women are writing to him. And one of these women like gets so obsessed. I'm not going to give away the whole movie, but like they get so obsessed with the fact that he doesn't write them back. And she like just go, it's something like if you want to see Patrick Swayze like running from his life from like a psycho, that's one. You got to see Letters from a Killer if you've never seen it. It's
I have
really
to check it out. I have not seen that movie now.
okay. I will if I find it, I will send it to you because it's really.
Okay.
I got you.
I was like probably streaming it somewhere. I would look and see though.
All right, cool. But yeah, if y'all have never seen Letters from a Killer, that came out in like 1998, like in the '90s, still good stuff. Very, very good stuff. But I look at it from a stance like this. I mean, in today's forum, we really covered what the greatness of what you've done and many people in the adult entertainment industry and being one of the bright spots and bright lights of the adult entertainment industry. And Aria James, I got to say this to you because this show has been filled with a lot of pop culture, nostalgia, adult entertainment, beauty, makeup, and everything of so many different preferences, and really getting a chance to really showcase you, show up, show out, and highlight you. I'd love to have you back on for a round two, maybe after AVNs and definitely in the future. This has been such a blast talking to you tonight.
Yeah, it'd be great. I would love to catch up after AVN and show off my award. No, I'm just kidding. I'm manifesting, okay? Like showing off my award right here.
Well,
Yeah.
they always say to put into the universe, so I hope it does all go
Oh
well.
my God, you know the names that are in that category?
I know. I'm
Like,
just saying, put it to the universe, man.
like no shade to myself, like, but there's no way I'm winning that. Like,
Hey, I
but
will.
like, I'm just glad because the same thing with getting
Yeah.
nominated last year for the teas I got nominated for. I'm like, listen, I'm just glad to be in the same category with these people. Would it be great to win? Yes, of course, but either way, I'm gonna have a great time. So I would definitely love to catch you up on how my fun went.
Great times and great memories, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh
And
yes.
and really definitely check out all the great categories and people involved in, including this one over here. And I will say this, Aria James, I love asking this question with the show because we talk about how we get into the adult entertainment industry and all many facets of it. But I got to ask you, as someone who's had their tenure thus far in the adult entertainment industry, because you constantly learn, you never stop learning in life, and especially in the adult entertainment industry. What advice would you give to the people who are on the come up that are getting into the adult entertainment industry, content creation? What advice would you give based off not only what you've learned, but just in general?
I mean, the same thing that was told to me is like enjoy the journey. It's not always about the destination, and you just kind of like, yeah, it's great to be a hustler on your grind and stuff like that, but also take time to enjoy the fruits of your loins. Because there's a lot of stuff going on. It's going to pass you really fast, so just kind of enjoy while it's going and don't take life so seriously too. That's one of the things I'm still having to figure out myself. So
Beautifully and eloquently and bloodily sent adhere to those words, ladies and gentlemen. And also, the journey is worth taking, and the journey has given you a lot of great stuff within your tenure thus far. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for you. And I got wish you nothing but love and happiness and the best going forward.
thank you too. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And before we do close this out, this is where I step back. The floor is yours. Where can we follow you on these social medias, ma'am?
So I'm on X/Twitter. I still call it Twitter. Aria James XXX. I also have Aria James XXX X3X's.com. Uh, and then Instagram is Aria James 3X. See, TikTok is Aria James 3X. Like mainly everywhere is probably going to be Aria James 3X, but easiest way is on my Twitter, and my link tree is in my bio.
Links will be in the description for all the awesomeness on the interwebs and the social medias from Miss Aria James. And if y'all want to check out yours truly, it's SM Show 1 or MCL92 on Twitter, Larkin_92 and I'm Larkin MB on Instagram, and subscribe to Mike Larkin92. There's a lot of great content and shows on here from On the Mic with Mike, and including this lovely face over here, and so many great people of interviews from wrestling, from music, from the adult entertainment industry, and all facets of life. Everybody has a story to tell, and let's give them the platform to tell it and have some fun also while in that vibe and in that sphere and in that overall connection of content, ladies and gentlemen. So with that being said, Aria James, do you have any final words for your fans and the faithful as we get closer towards the AVNs?
No, hopefully I get to see a lot of y'all at the AVNs because I will be signing there. It's my first time. I forgot to mention that. My first time signing autographs. So please come see me, booth 301, on the 23rd from 2 to 4.
Get yourself over to that booth, man. Make some connections, get some autographs, sign the John Hancock, a little signature action. Boom. I like your style. All right. Get on out, ladies and gentlemen, and have fun because that's what life is about. And as like we mentioned earlier in today's forum, life is an art form. We're all applying our crafts. Continue to apply your craft in amazing fashion. And as I always send in each and every one of these shows, beauty, strength, and dominance, the three key elements that make women the work of art that they are. And Aria James, 3X, triple X, if you will. I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
just came to say hello. Oh, 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 oh. I just came to say hello. Oh, 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 oh. I just came to say hello. Oh, 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 oh. I just came to say hello. I just came to say hello. I just came to say hello. Hello. I just came to say hello. I just came to say